did Bitcoin just lose the battle against all currencies out there? And is this the time to sell Bitcoin? Is this mega relief rally in the midst of the bear market over, and we're actually going to be heading much lower? I'm going to also show you my trade, all the analysis, all the technicals, all the news that just came out, and who exactly said that Bitcoin has finally lost. A very big person, but let's actually take this all apart piece by piece and bit by bit and see if that actually all makes sense, and I'll offer you my honest, humble opinion. So if you're brand new to the channel and you enjoy these daily updates, then as always, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're always notified when I make a new upload, and call me Mr. Spot On down in the comments because a lot of our calls have been really good lately. So anyway, without any further ado, let's just jump right into this, and let's start with quick reminders. Today, 23rd of February, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we're going to have the unemployment, so initial jobless claims. This is very straightforward, spoke about this. Also, tomorrow is going to be a huge day, guys. Tomorrow, Friday, it's... even though it's not going to be the Friday the 13th, it still could be very bloody because it's the PCE time, the preferred gauge for inflation for Federal Reserve. Forecast 4.3. If it's going to come in at 4.4 or something above or something ridiculous, then I don't see how, this kind of a rally could still be sustained. Even though we saw terrible CPI data and Bitcoin still rallied on the Chinese narrative, but still this can prove to be quite painful because we're slowly starting to see Bitcoin to couple back with the S&P bit by bit. We're going to get to the chart in just a second. And also, what is very important for us, yesterday we saw the FOMC meeting minutes come out and everybody was speculating what's going to be in the minutes. And quite honestly, I didn't even speak much about this because I knew there isn't going to be much. So they just, in the minutes, you can see all of this here. Few participants favored the rate hikes of 50 basis points. Most agreed to 25. All participants agreed more rate hikes are needed. So there's going to be more rate hikes. Restrictive monetary policy needed until 2% inflation, blah, blah, blah. So really all the same stuff. So therefore, Bitcoin actually rallied a bit right now, which is on this. Because again, right now, the market is so sensitive to positive news as well as no news, and which is here, this is no news, so this is positive. Therefore, we see this small rally. So we're going to get to the chart. I'm going to talk about my trade in just a second. But now let's talk about who has said that crypto actually lost the battle against the national currency. And this is no other than the BIS Chief Augustin. And if you don't know what BIS is quite huge. So it's the Bank for International Settlements. It's basically a bank for all the central banks. So, and quite honestly, it's a bit weird because recently they allowed all the central banks to hold up to like 1 or 2% of crypto in their reserves. But now he's coming out right now. And what he is saying is that the only legal and historical infrastructure behind central banks can give the great credibility to money. And in this whole article, I'm just summarizing it, he just basically says that crypto has lost, it's all rubbish, and that, our central bank is, the word, credibility is credible. Okay, buddy, how about, are you happy? Is this face happy to see his money in the dollars and being devalued every year and losing buying power? As he said, he was quoting a bunch of nonsense here, saying that Bitcoin went down 65%. Should I remind this guy? Tell me in the comments right now. Should I call him and remind him? I said, Augustin, did you forget how much the dollar has lost of its buying power and of its value? Should I call him? I mean, these guys, when they make these ridiculous statements, somebody looks like stupid propaganda, where people just are getting paid to spread further something and say all these bad things, when the dollar or many stocks in S&P 500 have tumbled more than 65%. The dollar has lost more value than 65% with all the inflation, money printing, etc. So it is actually better than their actual current, absolutely outdated colonial financial system. But this is what they keep saying. So guys, don't believe this nonsense. I'm pretty sure this face right here is stacking sats just like all of us. Okay, let's move on to this one. And this one actually is quite serious. So this is something, I'm gonna leave a link to this full hearing down in the description of this video. This is a hearing which was in US on the huge crypto crash and why financial system safeguards are needed for digital assets. This is a very long one, but you have to watch it because here we saw pro-Bitcoin people in the US government and anti-crypto people in the US government, they clashed together and were arguing. But to be honest, the anti-ones were far stronger, and not because they had better arguments, but because the pro-crypto ones were very silent and they didn't provide all the, even if I could have been in this hearing, could have provided a lot more value to the stance of crypto than our pro-crypto US politicians. So as of right now, it seems like the crypto crackdown, or maybe they were silenced or something. So the crypto crackdown continues, and this is, we gotta see how that's gonna end, because 2023 could be very volatile because of everything that is happening. So you really want to watch this hearing, because it says a lot as to the current atmosphere and environment in the United States when it comes to crypto policy and regulation and government operations, which is not good at this point, unfortunately. Let's move on to something good though. Of course, we're seeing in the United States, everything is quite iffy, and second, Gary Gensler going after all these coins, etc. But at the same time, what we're seeing, and certainly we're seeing inflation and high, probability of a recession at this point, etc. So we're actually seeing the money supply of the United States going actually a bit to the downside. So it's quantitative tightening. Therefore, no money in the market to go and pump all the prices like in 2020 that we had in the previous beginning of the huge bull market, which took the price of Bitcoin to $69,000. But what we are seeing is the money supply of China. Look, it's going up right now. So when we have a lot more money out there in the market, and this is credited to the Rational Root on Twitter, when we're seeing so much money coming into the space, do we really care if it's from US or China or Asia or Middle East, whatever? Nobody gives a crap. So we're seeing a lot of money coming from China right now, and they're in quantitative easing, and certainly it could give us the hopium that is going to balance out the quantitative tightening of the US, and therefore suppress and help Bitcoin keep decoupling. But we're going to move to the chart in just a second. So this is on a very positive side, and it's very hard to suppress something on a global scheme. When it's a US stock and only primarily US participants are actually investing in it, and when we have quantitative tightening in that country, then it's going to be affected. But Bitcoin is global. Cryptocurrencies are global, and they actually benefit from global liquidity. So we need to see the whole world. And right now, even Japan and UK and China, everybody's like pretty much in quantitative easing right now, and only US is in quantitative tightening. So this is something to keep in mind. So this is very positive. And on the next positive note, that BlackRock just started their metaverse themed ETF despite the warning investor in blah blah blah. So here what we can see is that investment giant BlackRock, with trillions of dollars under management, trillions, is offering an exchange traded fund that will focus primarily on tech companies that are exposed to the metaverse. Even as some, and this is most important, even as some institutional investors appear to have lost interest in the concept after its immense popularity during the recent bull run. So they are going in when everybody else is losing interest. This is the perfect time to buy. This is what it means. And BlackRock, their partnerships, they have their roots in Circle. Right now they're going into the metaverse, also into Bitcoin, into also Coinbase. There's so many things that they're doing, and I think that this is very forward-looking as to what is about to come in the next bull market. So, and the same thing, this is a bit of an older article, but Saudi Arabia, when it comes to the metaverse stuff, BlackRock is not the only one. Saudi Arabia is partnering up with Sandbox for future metaverse plans. Guys, mega bullish. So when we're seeing these kinds of things, it kind of is, and especially this momentum in terms of global liquidity, it becomes a lot easier to ignore these faces that are just serving some kind of an ulterior agenda. So let's move on to the chart right now. And here, well, first and foremost, actually, I opened a long trade over on Bybit, and as of right now, it's just a small profit of about $2,000, and it's a relatively small trade of like $220,000. It's like 9 Bitcoin trade. So let me explain exactly the logic behind this trade and what I'm expecting, because you have to understand like exactly what is my plan right now and how I see the chart. And certainly if you want to be trading actively yourself over on Bybit, it's a great place to trade. Then go down into the description of this video and use my exclusive Bybit link where you can claim up to $30,000 in deposit bonuses. You automatically enter into a Rolex giveaway if you deposit at least $100 and maintain this balance and trade on Bybit. And also if you deposit more than $500, you get my famous paid crypto course course, sent to your email within 3 days. And all deposited users get access to my crypto signal community, which is making quite a lot of money. There's like 30,000 traders in there and really great trade ideas. Then there's also a link to it down in the description of this video. And if you're a Bybit trader, this is how you get in. So, and basically, I have my trade open as of right now with like a $2,000 profit. But the main idea here, let me explain, because if you watched my previous video from yesterday, I told you that there are two opportunities right now. If either we're going to be breaking to the downside or we're going to actually bounce and go to the upside. But I told you either side, I really want to see some kind of a volume retracement. So there has to be some kind of a confirmation. So there was this break to the downside and I was really looking at it and I was really contemplating whether I should take it. But then, I mean, again, very important rule, volume. There's just, it was so slow, so sluggish, no impulse. I love impulse, I love volatility. Day traders, swing traders, we want volatility, that initial impulse power, which there wasn't, so I just quite frankly ignored it. And when it comes to a smaller time frame, this was also quite interesting to see. We had this formation that broke to the upside, which was quite nice, but look how it broke. It broke with no volume also. So this also looks very fake. So I didn't take this one either. And I always tell you exactly how I take these things. Now, and we broke to the downside and we saw a bit of volume in the 15-minute chart. But I told you, look at the 1-hour chart, look at the 4-hour chart. And there, again, in comparison to some more serious volume, it's just not that interesting. Therefore, I decided that when we saw this bigger retracement, which just feeds narrative a bit more properly in my opinion, then I've taken this long trade, which again, it was fed with a tiny bit of volume, but it made more sense because it's into trend. So this is the reason why I've actually taken it. Again, if you want to learn all of these things properly, there is a link to my VIP mentorship one-on-one where I teach you everything that I personally know and how I take this and how I read the market, because this is everything, you know, is how you read the market. So there is a link to it down in the description of this video. You can join on a call with my team and see how it works, how much it costs, how long it takes. And right now we have only 2 seats left for this VIP mentorship, simply because there's only one me and I want to live my life as well. So anyway, and right now we are seeing that we are pushing back into this zone of this wedge, and potentially we just did this small consolidation here, and my target right now is again potentially a retest of 25,000. maybe we'll come down again, retest this purple line of 24k, and then maybe retest again this 25, because I am thinking that since we didn't really move much yet, so we're just really consolidating, what the market is anticipating is tomorrow and the PCE data. I think that this is what the market is really waiting for. Therefore, certainly if it's going to keep pushing and there's going to be a really super early entry, you know, into consolidation and break above 25k, this would be absolutely beautiful. And that's why I got myself a very early entry, just like I discussed in yesterday's video. However, if, and this is very important, guys, always as active traders, we have to entertain always all the possibilities that the market could bring, especially tomorrow. If PCE is terrible, we're going to come retest this level and actually break down below with actual real volume and kind of confirm this breakdown, which just weakened this whole level altogether. I will certainly flip my trade to short easily. So either I'll take a small loss or I'll try to do it at the break-even point. So this is how I trade. And I rarely take huge losses. I always try to follow what the market is telling me, what the fundamentals are telling me, etc. So for the time being, I'll keep it long. If it keeps going down, if it retests here, if it breaks down below, I'll flip it to short. And yeah, so this is my plan. But for now, the target is 25k. But I think that the most important catalyst will be tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. And check out this quick tutorial so that you know how to trade Bitcoin properly with proper risk and money management, because me, only if I am right in 25% of the time in my trades, I'll break even. So 35% of the time, I'm making very good money. So with this kind of accuracy rate. So risk and money management, very important. Check out this tutorial. Peace and love. Thomas Corallo. Stay smart, stay rich, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.